Hey guys, it's that time again. We got to install the Schluter heated cables. Now I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what the process is for taking the cable out of the box, get it installed, and knowing that you're covered with the warranty based on the process and the steps that Schluter wants us to take as an installer. Now, I have done a video on this in the past. You're welcome to go watch that, or you can watch this one. This is the 250 square foot heating cable. It is the biggest one that they have. It is also a new product. I think they just recently came out with a 250 square foot one. It is a very heavy cable. I don't really know how heavy it is, but getting it out of the box is pretty challenging. Now each box of these cables is going to come with several things. One, it's coming with a spool. It is got saran wrap on it to keep everything intact, and then it's got the barcode on there with all the details on the specific wire that you bought. It's going to come with two temperature sensors that will go in the floor. Now, on this particular install, I'm not going to install them on every cable because I'm doing 5 or 6 total cables, 3 to one thermostat, 3 to another thermostat, and I only need 2 of these per thermostat. So I'll have 6 per thermostat that I could install, but we're only going to install 2. That'll make more sense as the video goes on, if you guys stick around and watch the whole installation. Each kit's also going to come with a little bag. The bag's going to have your tags with all of the information regarding the heated cable that you purchased. This can go on the panel next to the circuit so that when you go in there and need to know where the heated cable circuit is, you can find it right away. If your heated floor is not working after you've been using it for a while, that's always kind of a good first place to go back and check, is to make sure the breaker didn't trip for some reason. If it has tripped, you probably want to call an electrician and see why. Every pack's going to come with an installation guidebook. This is going to have a couple different languages in it. It's going to have instructions on installing everything from the primer all the way up through the tile. So you're gonna kind of get a lot of information in here. It's good to go back and read through that, even if you have installed one of these before, just to remind yourself, or at least I like to remind myself, some of the specifications on distances that the heated cable can be installed up around things and the things we need to avoid. All those are really important because we want the heated cable to last a long time, and so we have to install it correctly. Now, this product registration form is going to be the thing that we fill out as an installer. We have to run tests on this cable. There's 3 different tests we're going to run in order to get the warranty. There's going to be a test right now before we install it. There's going to be a test after we install the cable into the Ditra heat. And then there is going to be a test after we install the tile and the grout and before we hook up the thermostat. So then after that third final test is when we go ahead and hook up that thermostat, connect power to it, and fire everything up. I'm going to find the end of the saran wrap here. We'll get that pulled off. Now, it's probably going to be rare for you to need 250 square foot of this heated cable. Very rare for me. I've never needed it before. And the fact that I need 5 of them on this job is extremely rare. Usually I'm doing a bathroom or a kitchen, and so bathrooms typically ranging anywhere from probably 50 on up to like 115 square feet, and then kitchens can be, 100 up to 400 square feet. There's a big range in some of that, but this right here is the cable that'll come off. The first 6 feet or so are going to have this black wrapping on it. This is what actually goes up into the wall, and then this will poke out your hole where your thermostat is going to sit on the wall. And then there is this little device here that's a little fatter, and this needs to sit under the tile in the floor. So somewhere between where it's gray here and it's, let me get this little tie off and it'll unwrap a little more for me so I can show you. So the heated cable is where the gray starts, so right here. And then right here is where that black starts. This piece needs to go in the floor under the tile, and then any of this can go up in the wall. All of this has to go under the tile. This right here is a little sticker that they put on it, and it ties it onto itself around the spool. So once that's broke off, you cannot return it. So if for any reason you think you're not going to use it, or you got the wrong size of heated cable, do not pull this in off of the spool and break that little tag, or you will not be able to return it and get a refund or exchange it. Right here is the little tag that has the specifications of what this cable is. Now that's going to remain on there inside of your outlet box and behind where your thermostat is. That way, if you ever need that information, you can always just pull that thermostat off. You'll know exactly what cable's there, and you have that for eternity. For the test, we are going to get a multimeter, one of these. Now, you can get these at your local box store. You can get them at Ace Hardware, Connects, Builder's First Source, Lowe's, Home Depot, all of those. And on this test, we are going to have, so there's 3 different tests, and then there's 3 different portions to each test. Correct that. 3 different tests and 4 different portions, if you count the temperature sensors. The first test is going to be a conductor resistance test. Now for this test, we are going to put it on the ohms. You can see I have that little like upside down horseshoe thing. Put it on there, and if your deal has a setting, I think you can put it to the K for kilo ohms. And then you'll just put one of these clamps to each side of the wire. And see what the number comes to, 18.2. So we're going to put 18.2 ohms in the before installation category. Now, that number has to be within 10% of this number right here. So it shows you on the cable for the one you bought the ohms of your cable. Mine is 18.9. 18.9 is my factory value, and my before installation was 18.2. Now you need to check that because they're not all the same for each cable. So like each one of these 250 square foot cables might have a different ohms reading for that specific cable. Like my last one, I did already install one today, and it was 19.3 ohms, whereas this one is 18.9. So it's going to be a little bit different. You need to check for each individual cable as you go. The next one is going to be the conductor and ground braid continuity test. So essentially you're going to just put one on the red or the black and then one on the ground. And it should show OL. And then once you do that, you'll switch it from either the red to the black or from the black to the red, maintaining one on the ground. Same thing again, should read OL. So I got OL for black and for red leads. The next one is going to be a insulation resistance test with a megameter. So that one, if you have an M, you can, for mega ohms, you can switch that over. Second here. I always forget. Oh, I just had it. There we go. So OL on that too. So then I'm going to switch that over to my black. OL. Okay. So that is the 3 tests for your heated cable. Now the fourth one is going to be with your temperature sensors. So each one of these, we have the little temperature sensor that'll go down into between the little knobs in the Dietrich heat. And then we have our 2 wires that are inside that'll end up getting plugged into the back of the thermostat. So these 2 wires are what we need to test. The nice thing about if you get these little crimpers is you can just crimp them onto there instead of trying to hold them onto the wire. It's much easier. Same thing here, kilo ohms, you just want to get the measurement for that. 14.27 on mine. So I'm 14.27 at, and then I'm going to test the other one. Now this is only part of this test. The other thing we have to do is get the temperature of the room that we're sitting in as well, and it's got to be close to a range that is on a chart that I'll show you here in a second as well. 14.5. So 14.27, 14.5. Oh, that. So then I have a little temperature probe too that can go into my megameter. And then I'm just going to adjust it over to the Fahrenheit button. Right there. And we have a temperature of 58 degrees in here. So I'm going to put 14.27 at 58 degrees and 14.50 at 58 degrees. Then if you look on the chart that comes with it, it'll show you there kind of the, sorry, I'm going to try and hold this still for you guys. And it's going to read backwards because I got the camera facing me. But anyways, find this chart. It'll tell you on there. It says for 59 degrees, it should read around 14.8 ohms, kilo ohms. And I was just under that, but I'm just under the temperature. I think there's a range on that too for a percentage it's got to be within. I know I'm definitely within it there, so I'm not going to go find the exact percentage. I'm guessing it's probably 10%, along with the ohms of the cable. So we have done the conductor resistance test, the conductor and ground braid continuity test, the insulation resistance test with the megameter, and the floor temperature sensor test. So that's all for the tests before the install. So we are done with that portion of it. What we need to do now is take this over and install it into our Schluter Heat, right where it's going to go, and then do the exact same test again. At that point, we'll be ready for tile as long as everything reads right. Couple notes for you. These temperature sensors. I said that there's 2 per box or 2 per cable. Now, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a unique thing here, running a series with 3 different cables onto one thermostat, and that's a little tricky, and we're going to show you that in future videos. But for the main wire that's going to go to the thermostat box, these temperature sensors are going to go to that wire and up into that box. Now, why is there 2? Well, one is going to actually connect to the thermostat, and it is going to be what moderates and regulates your temperature, kicks the heat on and off. The other one is a backup or secondary floor temperature sensor. That one is in case the first one ever breaks. You don't want to have to pull up tile, dig into the floor, and risk damaging the cable just because you need to see if the temperature sensor is damaged or broken. So then at that point, all you have to do is loosen up the 2 screws in your thermostat that are connecting these 2 wires, and then take the other 2 that are in the box and connect them to your thermostat, and it's a very easy way to tell if that is the issue. It's really good insurance that Schluter does that. It's a great idea. I'm glad they do it. It takes an extra, 30 seconds to test and an extra minute to install, and you never have to worry about it. That's going to be it for this portion. Just a reminder, make sure you go take a look at your installation guidebook and just refresh your memory on how to install the cable and distances to stay away from everything. Page 16 and 17 is where you're going to find that. And there's a little chart in there with kind of the main things, which is just simple and easy to look at and take a note, then go install.